One of the reasons Joe Biden doesn't give press conferences is because the man has no idea what's happening in this country, and he probably can't grasp it either. Donald Trump has mocked Biden, saying he doesn't even know he's alive. And I think it's a bit of an obvious joke, but Joe Biden appears to be unable to absorb new information, or at least he's not trying to. In this story from the Post-Millennial, Biden confuses basic facts about murder of Trump supporter in incoherent press conference. That's true, but it actually sounds like he's blaming the Trump supporter who died, or making it seem like the Trump supporters killed somebody or something. I don't know what he's trying to say. He clearly didn't read the news. How can we expect this man to lead this country if he doesn't know what's happening? And one of the most extreme examples of violence yet. The man is apparently going to be running a $45 million ad run for 1 week talking about law and order, and he doesn't even know about the dude who was executed in the street. So no, save your money. You're just lighting it on fire. But let's read the story. Post-Millennial says, Joe Biden finally took questions today. After delivering some remarks before traveling to Kenosha, Wisconsin tomorrow, Biden appeared to blame Trump supporters in Portland for someone shot by someone in the crowd with a bullet killed. He was asked if he agreed with running mate Kamala Harris' statements that the officer who shot Jacob Blake in the city should be charged. It appears that he said yes, those officers should be charged, as well as the officers involved in the death of Breonna Taylor. Here's Joe Biden coming out, knowing nothing about what's going on, but thinking people should be charged with crimes. He couldn't even tell you what's happening. He probably doesn't even know. He's hiding in his basement, and he's probably sleeping all day. Quote, I think we should let the judicial system work its way. I do think there's a minimum need to be charged, the officers, and as well as Breonna Taylor. Wait, what? Come on, man. And I might add, by the way, I think what happened in Portland, where one of the Trump guys riding along in vans, inciting response, shooting rubber bullets, I guess, or paintballs. Apparently there was someone shot by someone in the crowd with a bullet, killed. I think that person should meet the legal requirements of whatever that calls for. It should be investigated, and it should follow through on what needs to be done. What? I'm sick of it, man. You turn on CNN and they're like, no, Joe Biden's fine. I can't even read these quotes. I have no idea what he's saying. I don't even know. Let's make sure justice is done. That I understood, I guess. The Biden campaign had criticized President Trump's planned visit to Kenosha, Wisconsin, saying that the city needed time to heal. Biden will be heading there tomorrow for his own campaign stop. Biden stated that he was the first to call for the Defense Production Act to be put into place early in the pandemic. I don't care about that right now. We're talking about a man who was killed, and Joe Biden not even taking out 10 seconds to read a news article. Think about that. How hard is it to open up Google and say, man shot Portland, and read the article? It'd take you a minute or two, Joe, and you couldn't even do that, let alone form a cohesive sentence to condemn the murderers who carried out the act. Biden also noted, as president, and despite being a constitutionalist, he would put pressure on states, cities, and businesses to require people to wear face masks. So there's the gist of the story. But let me tell you something. Do you think the media is giving us a fair shake? No. When it comes to Joe Biden, most news outlets, what they do is they complete his sentences for him, or they don't even quote him because the dude isn't speaking English. I have no idea what these quotes are supposed to mean. And I'm upset by it, to be honest. Here's the glorious story from CNN. DHS withheld intelligence bulletin warning about Russian misinformation attack on Biden's mental health. We needed the Russians to convince us that Joe Biden's got something wrong with his brain. I guess Joe Rogan's secretly working for the Russians because he said the same thing as the rest of us. How stupid do you have to believe? I pulled a Biden. I'm sorry. How stupid do you have to be to believe? See, I'm getting Biden on this one. I'm so flustered and frustrated. How dumb you got to be to believe that when I criticize Joe Biden's mental health and his inability to speak, that it's actually the Russians funding it or some kind of Russian misinformation play. Do these people think that like someone told me that Joe Biden, like some Russian agent said, hey, what about Joe Biden's mental health? No, I just watched him give a press conference and I said, I have no idea what this man is saying. And now they're trying to tell everybody. Russia. CNN says the Department of Homeland Security in July withheld an intelligence bulletin warning of a Russian plot to spread misinformation regarding Joe Biden's mental health, according to a report from ABC News on Wednesday. Did you guys know that Joe Biden's had brain aneurysms and he's had to have brain surgery because of it? I'm not trying to disparage the guy. It's a perfect example of why he struggles to speak. He's even said the surgery or the aneurysm could affect his speech centers. So I'm not trying to drag the guy, but do you think someone like this is capable of being president? I don't. In a draft of the bulletin obtained by the network titled Russia Likely to Denigrate Health of U.S. Candidates to Influence 2020 Election, analysts said with high confidence that Russian malign influence actors are likely to continue denigrating presidential candidates through allegations of poor mental or physical health to influence the outcome of the 2020 election, according to ABC News. The bulletin also raised efforts by China and Iran to criticize President Donald Trump, the network reported. Okay, if the report is saying both candidates, why are they framing it like it's targeting Joe Biden? Why is the headline about Biden's mental health and not Trump's? Because the narrative must be that Russia is helping Trump. I get it. The bulletin was submitted July 7th to the DHS Legislative and Public Affairs Office for review, and according to emails obtained by ABC News, was to be distributed to state, federal, and local law enforcement, but not to the public on July 9th. Emails also show, according to the network, that DHS Chief of Staff John Gauntanis stopped the bulletin from being sent out. Please hold on sending this one out until you have a chance to speak with Acting Secretary of Homeland Security Chad Wolf. CNN has reached out to DHS for comment. News of the blocked intelligence bulletin comes nearly 2 months before the 2020 presidential election and amid concern over Russian interference in the election. In August, U.S. intelligence officials presented information to lawmakers and presidential campaigns signaling that Russia is behind an ongoing disinformation push targeting the former vice president, William R. Ivanina, director of the National Counterintelligence and Security Center, and the U.S. intelligence community's top election security official, also said in August that Russia is working to denigrate former Biden's White House bid and former Biden's White House bid, and China prefers an outcome where Trump is not reelected. So we've heard this, okay? We've heard, I think Nancy Pelosi said it, that, it was an intelligence report, and then Nancy Pelosi repeated it. Russia would prefer Trump. China and Iran would prefer Joe Biden. Yeah, because Joe Biden's probably going to want to do the nuclear deal, and he's going to start giving in to China's demands again. Let me tell you, there's a lot of reasons to oppose Joe Biden. His capitulation to far left demands, not completely, but enough. His denigration of law enforcement, where he's saying these guys should be charged before there's even been a formal investigation. Even Darren Wilson got a formal investigation. Joe Biden, outside of all of these things, is just, look, it's not necessarily about his cognitive ability. That's what I'm trying to say. It's about his unwillingness. It's about his lack of enthusiasm. I'll put it simply. Joe Biden does not want to be president. I've talked about it before. We can make fun of him, but I think a lot of this mental decline stuff that we see is just him being like, I don't want to be here. What am I doing? He clearly doesn't read the news. He doesn't want to go on the campaign trail. Has anyone considered that the reason Joe Biden doesn't travel, it's not because he's old and feeble. It's because he doesn't want to be president. He doesn't want to campaign. He doesn't want to read the news. The dude's retired. He wants to sit around, watch an old golf game reruns, and mind his own business. Now, it's probably a combination of the fact that he's old and feeble, sure. But I don't think it has to do with his ability for the most part. I think his abilities are in question, yes. But I think he just doesn't want to be here. I think he's going to lose. I think they know it. And I think the strategy the Democrats have is to delegitimize the election. Trump cheated. It should have been Biden. Joe Biden's barely doing anything. He's only now deciding to go to Kenosha. When he was in Pittsburgh, you know what he did? He was in an empty room. It was like 6 people, socially distanced. He talked and then he left. Took no questions. He took questions this time, and boy, he looked dumb. And that's probably why. But I think this story from the Post-Millennial breaks it down very, very simply. When he talks about, a guy, I guess, paintballs, apparently someone was shot in the crowd, killed. He doesn't care. He doesn't care somebody's dead. He can't be president. He doesn't care about Americans. He doesn't care about the lives of those who are killed. He doesn't even read the news because he doesn't want to be here. And because of it, he's now essentially blamed the guy who died or some other Trump supporter when we know, we believe strongly, because I want to say innocent until proven guilty. It was a far left guy who did this. Will you vote for this? Seriously? Will anyone vote for this guy? People will. They hate Trump that much. They hate Trump so much, they would elect a man who doesn't have the ability to be president, who doesn't want to be president, and doesn't even know what's happening with people dying. For shame. Whatever, man. I got a couple more segments coming up in a few minutes. Stick around, and I will see you all shortly.